You're 16. You're on your knees in aisle 7, mopping up a broken jar of pickles, while a man in cargo shorts stands over you, complaining that his coupon won't scan. 26 years later, you're standing in your own store at 11 p.m., signing a $1.8 million buyout offer in a glass conference room, while a corporate lawyer slides a pen across the table. Between those two moments is a $1.06 trillion U.S. grocery industry, a marriage that ended on a Tuesday, and a back that doesn't bend the way it used to. This is every level of a grocery clerk's life. Level 1, the bag boy. You're 16. Your first grocery job pays $11.09 an hour, and you're not even on a register yet. You're a bag boy. You're a courtesy clerk. You're whatever the manager calls the kid in the green polo who pushes carts in the parking lot in August heat and corrals them through January slush. The polo is too big. The name tag has your name spelled wrong. You bag groceries the way they tell you the first day. Heavy on bottom, bread on top, cold with cold. And you'll do it 600 times before the shift ends. You learn the smell first. That's what nobody warns you about. The back room smells like wet cardboard and bleach in the grinder. That's what they call the trash compactor when it's overdue. You learn that the meat department is a different country, that the front-end supervisor is the person you actually answer to, and that everyone older than you calls you kid until you've been there 6 months. Then comes the first injury. You lift a 40-pound case of orange juice off the bottom pallet wrong. You feel something pull low in your back, sharp, and you spend the next 4 shifts pretending it's nothing because you've been there 11 days and you don't get sick pay. According to BLS data, grocery stores rank 5th among all U.S. industries for repetitive stress injuries, and musculoskeletal disorders account for 33% of all retail workplace injury cases. You are now a statistic. You don't know it yet. The promotion comes when a cashier walks out mid-shift on a Friday in July. The front-end supervisor finds you in the cart corral. She says 4 words, register 6, right now. That's the moment. Level 2, the front end. You're 19. You're a cashier. Welcome to the loneliest social job in America. 400 people will talk to you today, and not one of them will remember your face. The national median wage for cashiers in 2024 was $14.99 an hour, with the bottom 10% making $11.09, and the top 10% topping out at $18.37. You're somewhere in the middle. Your check after taxes covers rent, gas, your phone, and not much else. The store schedules you 32 hours so they don't have to give you benefits. You pick up the other 8 off the clock, facing the aisles after close. That's pulling every can and box 1 row forward so the shelves look full, because the closing manager asked, and you don't know yet that you're allowed to say no. The register itself is a cage. 6 feet by 4 feet of conveyor belt, scanner, and bagging well. Fluorescent lights above, no window. You stand for an 8-hour shift on a thin rubber mat over concrete, and by hour 6, your feet feel like wood. Studies of supermarket checkout work show cashiers flex their wrists up to 600 times per hour. You will scan something like 35,000 items a week. Your right shoulder will start to click before you turn 22. The gear you buy yourself. A pair of slip-resistant Skechers work shoes for about $65. Replaced every 9 months because the rubber wears flat. A back support belt from the pharmacy aisle. $24. A wrist brace you wear on your off days. $18. By age 25, you've spent maybe $1,200 trying to keep your own body from breaking on a job that pays you $31,000 a year. The cashier's energy drink is exactly that, energy drinks. A 24-pack of Monster from the back cooler, on sale, lasts a week. That and ibuprofen, 4 at a time, every shift. The language. A short stack is a customer with under 15 items. Code 4 is a price check. Code 99 is a fight or a theft. Shrink is anything that left the store without being paid for. A till is your register drawer. Running the till is being assigned to it. Bricking is when the system crashes mid-transaction. Voiding is when the supervisor has to come over with her key. Drop is when you slide the big bills under the slot every hour so the drawer never has more than $300 in it. And that language is the only thing keeping you from getting short, coming up under at end of shift count in the next 8 hours. Level 3, the front-end lead. You're 27. You're a front-end supervisor, what the union contract calls a customer service manager. You make about $42,000 a year. You are now responsible for every register error on the line, every angry customer, every cashier who calls out, every till that comes up short, and you get credit for none of it when sales are good. You run the front end of a store that moves $400,000 to $700,000 in groceries a week. You make the schedule. You count the safe at 6 a.m. and again at 10 p.m. You handle every refund over $50, every WIC dispute, every customer who wants to speak to a manager. You stand for 10 hours and you eat lunch in 7 minutes in the break room behind the dairy cooler, where the floor is sticky and the microwave smells like other people's leftovers. The hours, 50 to 60 a week, 6 days, with one rotating weekend off a month. You open Sundays at 5 a.m. You close Fridays at 11 p.m. Your kids' soccer games happen on Saturdays. You go to maybe one a season. This is where the marriages end. Retail and food service workers have some of the highest divorce rates of any industry, and the front-end supervisor sits at the worst of it. Management responsibility on a non-management schedule. The body has started keeping score. Cashier's wrist, the carpal tunnel that comes from 35,000 scans a week, is something you live with now. Your lower back is permanent. You sleep with a pillow between your knees. Your knees ache when it rains. Your insurance is the company plan. $180 a paycheck for a $4,500 deductible, which means you don't actually use it. You buy CVS brand ibuprofen in the 500 count bottle, but once in a while the line is 12 deep and breaking, and you step on register 4 without a word, and you clear it in 8 minutes flat. Every customer gone, every bag double-walled, every coupon honored, and the closing manager walks by and says one thing, "Good run," and for that 1 second, it's worth. Level 4, the store manager. You're 36. You're the store manager. Your name is on the sign by the entrance. Store director, your name here. The national median for a grocery store manager is around $77,900, but the spread is everything. $98,000 in San Francisco or Boston, $53,000 in rural Mississippi, with bonuses tied to shrink, labor as a percent of sales, and comp store growth, the year-over-year comparison that determines whether you keep your job. You don't run a register anymore. You sit in a windowless office above the customer service desk, and you read P&L reports. You hire, you fire, you sign off on the labor budget. Every store has one, usually 10% to 12% of weekly revenue. And if you go over it, corporate calls you on Monday. You protect your department heads, the bakery manager, the meat cutter, the produce lead, from a district manager who wants every metric in the green forever. You miss the floor. You miss the registers. You miss knowing customers' names. You walk the aisles at 6 a.m. before the store opens alone, just to remember what the job used to feel like. The financial math is brutal. The U.S. grocery industry runs on a 1.6% net profit margin after taxes. The FMI's published 2023 figure, the lowest since 2019. Your store pulls maybe $32 million in annual revenue. That's $512,000 in profit on a building with 95 employees and a $2.4 million monthly operating cost. Cost of goods sold runs 75% to 78%. Labor runs another 11%. Shrink, theft, spoilage, damaged product runs 1.6% to 2.5%, and every tenth of a point you lose comes straight out of your bonus. Then comes the corporate audit. 2 regional VPs walk in unannounced on a Tuesday in October. They want to see your back room, your dating on the dairy, your scheduled versus actual labor, your out of stocks report. They spend 4 hours. They don't tell you anything when they leave. You'll find out 3 weeks later, alone on your phone, in bed at 11:47 p.m., when an email lands from your district manager with the subject line, "Follow-up." Level 5, the owner. You're 44. You've watched corporate kill 3 good people in a row. The bakery lead with 20 years in, the meat cutter who taught you how to break down a side of beef, the assistant manager who was supposed to take your place. And you decide you're done. You open an independent grocery store. Small format, 4,800 square feet, in a strip mall on the edge of a town you grew up in. Industry data puts startup costs for a small grocery between $750,000 and $1.5 million, with refrigeration and leasehold improvements alone eating 35% to 45% of the total. You put $185,000 of your own money in, a second mortgage on the house, and you get an SBA 7A loan for $620,000 at 9.93%, the 2025 average rate. Your wife asks you twice if you're sure. The first time you say yes. The second time you don't answer. The first year you sleep at the store 3 nights a week on a cot in the office. 90 hours every week. Your daughter is 12 and you see her on Mondays, the store's slowest day, and that becomes the family day. Industry failure stats are unforgiving. Roughly 20% of new small businesses close in the first year, 50% by year 5, and independent grocers face some of the tightest margins in retail. Your gross margin is 24%. Your net, if you're lucky, is 1.9%. One bad month of spoilage and a broken freezer wipes a quarter. But you make it, year 3. You're booked out on Saturdays, the local paper writes you up, the high school sends students to bag for community service hours. You add a small deli counter. Year 4, you clear $410,000 net. Year 5, a regional chain comes calling. Their offer is $1.8 million for the store, the lease, and the name. You walk through the place at night. The fluorescents are off. Just the cooler hum. Blue light spilling out of the dairy section. The smell of fresh bread from the morning's last bake. You do the math out loud to nobody. The loan, paid off. The house, paid off. College for both kids, paid off. Something left over. You take the deal. You sign in a glass building downtown with a lawyer you barely know on a Thursday afternoon. Your name stays on the sign for 6 months. Then it doesn't. Closer. You're 52. You drive past the old store once a year, usually around Christmas. Different name now, different paint. The cart corral is in the same place. The new owners don't know you. You wake up at 4 a.m. without an alarm. 26 years of opening shifts, the body doesn't forget. Your right wrist clicks when you turn a key. Your lower back stiffens if you sit through a movie. You can't smell anything sharply anymore. Too many years next to the bleach buckets and the produce mister. The work paid for 2 kids through college. A paid-off house on a quiet street, a used truck, a wife who finally got to retire at 58, a grandkid you can pick up from school on Tuesdays. None of it was free. All of it counted. The trade was bad. The hours were worse. The body never recovered. But every single day you walked into a building, you fed a town, and you put food in the hands of people who needed it before they walked back out into their lives. That's the trade. That's the bill. That's the grocery clerk's life.